We will start with section 5.2. In 5.2 is the Savart Law. One thing is regarding its pronunciation, that it is not to be pronounced as the Biot Savart Law, but the Savart Law. The University Physics by Friedman and Young, it is even specifically writing this pronunciation that we will have to take care of the thing while pronouncing it. So the Biot law is basically for steady current. And what are steady currents? We will have to discuss this thing. That why a specific term steady is used here, not the term is constant or uniform. We are not using these terms, but we are using the steady state currents, so steady currents. So earlier we have discussed the electrostatics. Electro charge static means at rest, and this is magnetostatics, like the magnetic field at rest, but there is no concept of like magnetic field at rest. So we say it is magnetostatic. It is not a varying magnetic field, but it is a kind of a stationary kind of magnetic field. Although we say that it is, if current is going in a wire, then the magnetic field is going around it, but it is static. Its magnitude, it is the result of a steady current. Now, what is basically a steady current? We will discuss that thing in more details. But first, understand that when we were studying electrostatics, like when we were studying electrostatics, then we were having the source of this electrostatic is the stationary charges. Stationary charges. And these stationary charges we governed with the help of Coulomb's law, okay, that we discussed with the help of Coulomb's law, the interaction between the charges. And now when we are in magnetostatics, then magnetostatic is the result of steady current, like the source is steady current. Now it's another issue which we will discuss later, like when it is stationary charge, when it is charged, then we talk of electrostatics, and when the charge starts moving, we call it magnetostatics, or we call that thing as current, but it itself is a charge which is in motion, like we say charge at rest and charge in motion. That's another story which we will later on discuss when we will move to electrodynamics, like charge in motion, and that motion can be zero or can be not zero. So that's another story. We will talk about that in electrodynamics chapter. But for this fifth chapter, that we studied electrostatics, so now we are studying magnetostatics, and the law which is analogous to the Coulomb's law is basically the Biot law. So this is the Biot law. This law is analogous to this one, and when we move towards more charges, then our continuous charge distribution, we moved from Coulomb's law to the law which governed the electrostatics. We moved to Gauss's law. And now here, when there will be more currents are when we will deal analogous law to the Gauss's law, that is basically the and Ampere's law in magnetostatics. So these are having some resemblance here. Like when we said in the stationary charges, if there are many charges, then the law of superposition holds for this, like the interaction of one charge with the other at one time, and then the interaction of this charge with another, in another you can say contribution. So we apply the law of superposition, and here when there will be many currents, then it will also hold the law of superposition. So that will be the situation here. But first discuss what is meant by a stationary current. We know that from the continuity equation, we know that the divergence del dot J, J being the current density, the current per unit cross-sectional area, this is equal to minus partial rho over partial T, where rho is the charge per unit volume and J is the current density, which is the current per unit cross-sectional area. So it is this, the rho here is resembling the G here in magnetostatic. Now here is per unit volume, here is area, so that one extra dimension which in magnetostatic is dealt, it is dealt by the cross-sectional aspect. So that is because we don't have something like the current per unit volume. We are having per unit area, and that area is to be perpendicular or cross-sectional. So we will discuss this thing. Now this is when the charge density will change in time, then it will cause, when this is non-zero, that will cause a diverging current. Current will diverge from that one. This is just like if we are having a smooth floor and water is flowing over it, and if the floor is uniform, then we will not see any bumps or humps in that flow. But if you put a pebble or a stone there, small stone there, then what will happen? That the water will slightly go over it and the smooth surface will be disturbed, and that is basically the divergence of that water at that point. So the divergence, when this rho is constant, like this is uniform all over, then like this is constant in time, then this derivative will come out to be zero, and this implies that the divergence of J is equal to zero. And this situation we will call is the steady state current. Okay, when, for example, we switch on a button and current start flowing in a wire, then due to the that inductance or the self-inductance, there is some transition period in which the current is not a steady state. So it takes a while, means fraction of a second or few seconds, that it depends on the distance. So fraction of the time when will pass and the current will stabilize, and we say that current then is the steady state current. And the magnetic field during that current flow, which even starts like this, the magnetic field will not be static, so it cannot be called as magnetostatics. But once the steady state current is established, then we will call that magnetic field is magnetostatics. So the divergence of J is equal to zero. Now we can write this thing. There are two things. When I say that partial, uh, this the variation in J. So the variation in J here, if I look here, this is the divergence of current density. So this is the variation in J basically. And one thing is that J variates in time or J variates in space, like here. Del J here, or in one dimension I can write partial J or partial X. So that variation in J in both space and time will not occur. It will not occur both in space and time. This is like what I can say from this thing, that let's consider that we are having, let's say, in time, like as time passes on, this variation in rho is zero, like no variation in time. Now, what is basically the variation in space? So, the variation in space is like, for example, I consider a wire, and this wire is having a constant diameter, a constant radius or diameter, and then we will say that steady state current will flow in this, and in space the rho will remain the same. But let's say now this wire starts here, but there is a slight, you can say, the change of radius here, and it's like this. Then in this wire, if I consider, now rho will be changing in space, because here, if I look here, then charge is distributed along the uniform this thing, this wire. But if we just, you can say, disturb that uniformity of the material, that mass, like its density at one point, it is just, you can say, pressed here, then it will change the rho here and the current density, then the space dependence will occur here. Another thing I can say, like the wire, which is not of a good quality. So the like not uniform the mass. For example, if I cut two pieces of this wire and I just weigh them and their weight is not the same, then it means that there is some problem, spatial problem along the wire. Like the mass is not uniformly distributed, there are some defects there, let's say some porosity occurs there. So that will affect basically the flow of current, and the current will not remain steady, and the magnetic field will not be then called as magnetostatics. So we will have to take care of this thing. One thing more regarding here, that when we do this comparison, so we are having E here, we are having E here, and E is a function of R, and here we are having B is a function of R. Electric field is basically a radially outward field. When I consider its source like a monopole, like a charge, then the electric field is going radially outward from that. If I consider a dipole, like a plus and minus charge combination, then the electric field will not be diverging, but it will be converging. It from positive to negative, the lines will go. But the question is that Dipole is not a source of electric field. Source of electric field is a monopole, is a charge. So the electric field is radially outward field. While B, when you consider its source, current being the source of it, then the magnetic field is not going radially outward, but the magnetic field is circumferential. It's going along the circumference. So we are having the circumferential field here. If I look at the source here, if I look at the source here, then its source is a scalar source. While if I look at current, then the current is a vector source. So the sources are also different here. One is scalar and the other is vector. Current is considered as a vector, but when we do this thing in Savart Law, which is equivalent to Coulomb's law, like in Coulomb's law, we study the interaction between two sources, the interaction between two charges. And here in Savart Law, we will consider the interaction between two current carrying wires. So the source, when we consider the Savart line, we consider the source I, then we write I as a vector quantity, and later on we say that is this current will follow the length element, the length of the wire, so it will be basically dependent on the direction of that length element, and then we consider current as a scalar and we give the direction to the length element. So that's another thing that we switch from one point to another point. It's another thing. It's like just you can say putting the vector from current to the length element. So that is a slightly different situation.